officially 6 o'clock Verizon time to start the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees for May 28th, 2024. Mr. Baker.
Ms. Orch?
Here.
Mr. Unger?
Here.
Mr. Waller?
Here.
Mr. Wetbach, is there a need for executive session?
Yes, I would recommend that the board motion go into executive session in accordance with Ohio Revised Code, Section 121.22G3, to discuss pending or imminent litigation, and in accordance with 121.22G1 to discuss employment of public employees.
I motion that we would go into executive session for the reasons detailed by Mr. Weckbach.
I'll second that.
Ms. Orch?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Okay, we'll be back at 7. Thank you. Time for the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees, May 28th, 2024. And roll call.
Ms. Orch?
Here.
Mr. Unger?
Here.
Mr. Waller?
Here.
Okay. Is there anything to report from executive session?
Nothing to report.
Okay. Then can we stand to do the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we sit down for a moment of meditation, we celebrated Memorial Day yesterday. Let us keep in mind every day the ultimate sacrifice the fallen have done for us to live in this great country, the United States of America. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Baker, we have some approval of minutes.
Thank you, Board. I would recommend a motion for the approval of the minutes of the Board of Trustees meeting held on May 14th, 2024.
I motion that we approve the minutes of the May 14th, 2024 trustee meeting.
I'll second. Any questions?
Ms. Orch?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Board. Tonight, the first presentation will be presented by Chief Walls of the Colerain Township Fire Department.
Welcome, Chief.
Good evening, Board,
Good evening.
administration, guests, and those watching virtually. I'm here tonight to introduce and swear in our two newest career firefighter paramedics. I'd like Chris Billups and Jake Laney to please come forward. Chris is a graduate of East Central High School. He has an associate's degree from Ivy Tech Community College in 2019. He is a recruit class graduate here at Colerain in 2023, is currently in medic class, and tonight will be pinned by his wife, Kelsey. Jake is a Union County High School graduate, has an associate's in fire science technology from Cincinnati State University in 2015. He's worked part-time for Hanover Township, Colerain Township, has 4 years of career time at Crosby Township, and tonight will be pinned by his father, Manson. At this time, I'd like Chris to introduce his family, and following that, Jake to introduce his family.
Joining me, I have my wife, Kelsey, my daughter, Emma, sitting with my sister, Sarah, my brother-in-law, RD, his son and daughter, Kennedy and Carter, my mom, Michelle, my dad, Bob, and then my stepson, Brady.
Hi, I'm Jake. I have my wife, Brittany, my dad and mom, Manson and Marcia, and my in-laws, Nora and Bruce.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like Kelsey and Manson to come forward, please.
Gentlemen, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. I, Chris. Do solemnly swear. Do solemnly swear. Will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. So uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. And the Constitution of the State of Ohio. The Constitution of the State of Ohio. Will abide by the Colerain Fire EMS. Abide by the Colerain Fire EMS. Mission statement. Mission statement. Values. Values. Code of ethics. Code of ethics. Standard operating guidelines. Standard operating guidelines. And the township's policies and procedures. And the township's policies and procedures. I'll faithfully discharge the duties of firefighter paramedic. I'll faithfully discharge the duties of firefighter paramedic. In and for Colerain Township. In Colerain Township. Hamilton County. Hamilton County. State of Ohio. State of Ohio. To the best of my ability. To the best of my ability. So help me God. So help me God.
Thank you for coming to Colerain Township, and thank you for all your beautiful family members coming out here to witness this wonderful occasion.
Congratulations and welcome aboard.
And congratulations to both families. It's always good to have a good day Monday, Tuesday.
And Carter and Kennedy, there might be a president in there one day, so
Thank you. That concludes my presentation.
thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Board. The next presentation tonight is going to be an update from Hamilton County Commissioner Denise Driehaus.
Thank you. I'm going to do a little bit of this. Thank you, Chief. So hello, thank you for the opportunity to address you this evening. I was here back in 2017 when I was first elected to the County Commission, and I did a 49 and 49, so I visited all 49 jurisdictions. I thought I could do it in 49 days. I did not. I did it like in 49 weeks. But anyway, I got it done. And at that time, it was just an opportunity for me to meet you to meet me, because I was brand new to the position. And I wanted to create partnership with all the 49 jurisdictions throughout the county. So I'm here to provide an update. At that time, I did provide a menu of opportunity. It's in front of you. And it lists out some of the ways that any jurisdiction in the county can partner with the county to share services, to take advantage of grant opportunities. And it can be as simple as buying salt together, maintaining fire hydrants, or applying for some of the grant opportunities that the county has available, and many, many other things. So I've provided you with this, and also my contact information and my colleagues' contact information is on the back in case you have any questions or would like to get a hold of us if anything comes up. So I wanted to give an update there and provide that to you. And also I'm happy to answer questions if you have them, but talk about a couple of big things going on, and then talk about what specifically the partnerships look like with Colerain Township. And there are many partnerships with Colerain Township, and I don't know who is in charge of the grant writing in the community, but they are doing a bang-up job, and I'll get into that in a second. But I wanted to provide just some of the big stuff you may be hearing about, and I know, Dan, you're familiar with the first one. Is the Convention Center District down in the city of Cincinnati. The Convention Center, as you may know if you've been there recently, is rather old and tired and doesn't have enough technology in it to host really big conventions. And so we're losing out when it comes to the economic activity that should be going on in that district. And so the city and the county have come together. 3CDC is coordinating the project, and we have said we have different properties. The city owns this, the county owns this, the Port Authority owns this, but instead of saying we're all going to kind of do our own thing and hope for the best, we're working together and approaching that district as a collective. And so the convention center, the property where the Millennium Hotel stood to just to the east is now under our control. The property to the west that may be freed up, given the Brent Spence Bridge project, they're talking about up to 10 acres on the west side of the convention center, which is a substantial piece of land. And so lots of opportunities for growth by way of the exhibit space. But before we can do anything related to that, and by the way, we can't afford to do that right now, we need to do a renovation of the facility to bring it up to speed, to get the technology in there, and to refresh the facility. And so again, we're partnering with the city and shutting it down for 18 months, and that will happen shortly in July. It'll reopen in January of 2026, but it will be a refurbished center that can attract some of the opportunities that we've been missing out on, frankly. I mean, people just don't want to come here. We also will have a private development just to the south that will be a headquarter hotel, a 5-flag, 800-room headquarter hotel that will be able to house the conventioneers when they come in. That is the other thing that we have heard, that we don't have the facilities by way of hotels to attract these big conventions. And so that will be privately developed. We are helping with the financing along with the state of Ohio, but primarily it'll be a private contractor doing that work. And so the expansion will go out then to the east on that Millennium site, which is now this big green space, and we're going to use that for programming. It's like an inside-outside programming for the convention center, for the conventioneers. And so it's really exciting. It's a new approach. We've not done this in a very long time, and I know sometimes people hear that the city and the county are fighting. We're not always fighting, and we're doing this together. And I know, Dan, you're on the CFA, and so you've been a thank you for your service on that. And so I will leave it at that, but it's a pretty exciting project, and it should bring revenues into the county that will spill out then into the 49 jurisdictions. We have a structurally balanced budget. I should have started with that. I could not have said that in 2017. It wasn't true in 2017. It is true now. We've stabilized things. We're paying people competitive wages. The reason that matters to you and your constituency is that the people that I'm talking about are the 911 operators. They're the sheriff deputies. They're the individuals that work for JFS and go into people's homes and make sure kids are safe in our community. Those are our employees. And if you don't pay them well, they leave. And we don't have the quality that we need to serve the public. And so we are in a very good position, better than we have been in a number of years at the county, and I'm really pleased to be able to report that out. And then lastly, I wanted to talk about partnership, and a lot of this is related to the solid waste district, and Trustee Wallert sits on the policy committee with me. And so you all have taken advantage of many opportunities. I'm going to summarize because I'm going to all 49 jurisdictions. I'm probably on number 32 or 33 right now. And so I've done a lot of this and looked at a lot of these spreadsheets to say, here are the partnerships that you have taken advantage of. This is one of the longest lists I've seen. So again, kudos to the individuals that are doing this work for Colerain Township. But those kinds of grant opportunities that you've taken advantage of include the CDBG dollars, this Skyline Park Playground, the Pollinator Mural, the Township Give Back Days. I mean, there are many, many listed here. The total partnership is $555,000. And then the Solid Waste District through the Residential Recycling Incentive Program, you have taken advantage of that program over a number of years, and that's $177,000. And then you've also gotten one of our revitalization grants for the Joseph Road sidewalks at $250,000. So the total is just about $1 million, just under $1 million. And so I just want to say that it's very impressive to see this list, and the partnership only works, we can make the money available, but you all have to apply for it and have a project that you define, that you determine is catalytic in your community, that you know will bring economic development to the residents, and you come and apply for those dollars from us, and obviously you're having quite a bit of success. So I'm really here to thank you for the partnership. Not every community has the capacity nor the understanding of how this partnership works, but you all clearly do, and I'm really grateful that you are taking advantage of these opportunities to the benefit of the folks in Colerain Township. So with that, I've left you the information, my takeaway. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have them.
What is the status of the firearm training facility out on East Miami River Road, the gun range?
And that was on my mental list, but I didn't write it
I've
down.
got a tougher one, but I gave you the easy
Yes,
one.
yes. So the safety complex is, EPA has given us the green light to go ahead. Remember that the expansion is going to be on the land that is utilized by the engineer. He stores his spoils there. Think roadkill. Don't mean to be overly graphic with children in the room.
Broken asphalt and broken concrete also.
And all kinds of debris.
Right.
And so he's moving that all to the far corner. We have to clean up that portion of the site, so EPA had to come in and give us the green light, which took them a minute, but we got it. And so we are now going out for bids soon. We're doing some of the pre-bid conversations right now. The bids will go out for some of the initial work. We expect to have groundbreaking perhaps by the end of the summer, early fall. You will obviously be invited to attend that. But it's pretty exciting to have this complex come together with, again, not only the city of Cincinnati and the county, but also Colerain Township and many of the municipalities that have their own police departments utilize this range. They need to practice. And so they will be utilizing the range along with some of the other federal agencies that are there now. And so it's a great project. I'm very happy to be in partnership with Colerain Township on that.
When's your expected completion date? And did you get all the funding?
We got the first phase funding.
First phase funding.
Yes, which is already stacked together. So federal, state, county, city money is all in on the project, and we needed every bit of that. And Cindy Abrams was very helpful, and Sherrod Brown was very helpful. So we really did a very nice bipartisan effort to pull all this together. So the phase one is the expansion of the range itself. It's the expansion of the building that will be used for training for law enforcement. We did not get to some of the, what I consider somewhat ancillary, like the skid pad.
Yes.
The city is likely to build a skid pad elsewhere.
Okay.
That's not on the list.
Okay.
We had canine training. They already have canine training, so that isn't in phase 2 as well because it's not a necessity. It's really the expansion that's the necessity. And so that is fully funded. And as I said, I think we'll break ground in the fall. I don't know what the complete date is or the completion date is, but this project has been a long time in the making, so we're looking forward to getting it finished. So we're moving as quickly as we can.
Right. Okay. You-
And I just want to thank you for, I did get hooked up with the invite to the drug task force. And you and I had discussed fentanyl and some of the problems, and I will be attending that. So thank you so much, and thank you for all the work that you do for the township.
Yeah, thank you. And let me just elaborate real quick on that. So you're referring to the Hamilton County Addiction Response Coalition meetings. We have 700 members as a part of this coalition. We have to meet at the coroner's office because it's big enough to accommodate the hundreds of people that come and attend. But it's this great partnership with prevention and treatment and law enforcement and public health, hospitals, faith community, business community, all coming together to try to save lives and get people into treatment and long-term recovery. The good news in Hamilton County is that for 2 years running, our numbers of overdose deaths have declined. That is the only measure we have when we think about addiction and how we're doing by way of all the programming that we're trying to put in place. And so our numbers were down about 16% 2 years ago, which is really significant. And then I think another 6% last year, and we're on track to have another decline. But you never know. One event could throw all those numbers off. And so we are certainly not where we want to be because we're losing hundreds of people every year, but we are trying to create pathways so that people who have either mental health or addiction issues can get into treatment. And we've got a facility opening up right now in the jail to accommodate 90 treatment beds in that facility. We had an overcrowding problem a number of years ago, and so instead of building 90 jail cells to be isolated in that facility, we created a dormitory-style setting which will accommodate people with mental health and addiction issues so that they can receive the treatment and hopefully have the support they need so they don't come back. Because it's, as you know, it can be a bit of a revolving door, and we're trying to stop that and address some of those core issues for the criminal behavior so that those folks succeed once they move out. So I didn't mean to go too long, but thank you for participating in that. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming out, Denise.
Okay. Now we move on to citizens' address. And if you guys, you're fine. We'll wait a minute till you guys, if you all want to leave, that's fine.
And congratulations to both of the
Thanks again
families
for
of
coming tonight.
our new fire EMS employees.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, we now go to citizens' address, and I have one here, and Carrie Davis.
Good evening, Carrie.
Good evening.
I want people to take a really good look at Ms. Driehauss's record. Between Ms. Driehaus and Mr. Wallert, a group of citizens, including Oxbow, Sierra Club, League of Women's Voter, Rivers Unlimited, a number of nonprofits, and myself drafted a rule that would give us control in Colerain Township over Rumpke. And Ms. Driehaus single-handedly watered that bill down, that law down, the first rule in the history of Hamilton County. She watered it down so much that it made it almost pointless. And because of her actions, we are still stuck with the smell of Rumpke. We do not have the power to enforce the rules. She stripped residents and the Solid Waste Policy Committee of the power to regulate landfills, and we have no recourse. She put all that power into the hands of one director that answers to her. So when you go to vote, I hope you take a good look at her record and how she has ignored the number one most important issue in Colerain Township, contributing to the blight here, and now she's doing it in Harrison also. So I ask you to look at that when you consider your vote. I do not know the Republican running, but I have read about him, and he is outside the little political circle and is new. And I encourage everyone to check out Mr. Kohler and see what he brings to the table. And hopefully he will not backstab Colerain the way Ms. Driehaus has done. Okay, and I want to explain to you why this is going on. As each of you know, you all took money from Rumpke, and that's why in 30 years we have never cited Rumpke for a nuisance, ever. Never done it, because each of you took money. Ms. Driehaus has also taken money from Rumpke. In fact, she took money when litigation was pending. And talking about litigation, I wanted to mention that our law director, I learned in the last couple weeks, made a donation to Supreme Court candidate Megan Shanahan while you guys had a case pending before him, which is really inappropriate. The decision she made on your case after that donation was overturned by the appellate court unanimously, stating that she had exceeded or gone beyond the scope of the court. And you're all aware of that settlement. That decision and that improper influence ended up costing us taxpayers tens of thousands of dollars and additional legal fees because they took that path. I find that really disturbing. On that note, Mr. Waller, you guys are very famous for residents come up and talk. You do not engage us, except I reviewed the videos and I find you do engage people, just the ones you want. The ones you don't want to speak truthfully and fully, you wait till the end. And at the last time I was at a meeting, you deemed, Mr. Wallert, that you guys settled the law, that the lawsuit was not a negative against the township, that it was dismissed. And you are correct, but when you tell half-truths, it's a lie. That's a lie when you tell half the truth. Yes, I agreed graciously to dismiss the case against you all and not make you go into a courtroom after you handed me a check for $17,500, which was donated to a nonprofit and to my attorney. So when you say it was dismissed, tell the rest of the story, Mr. Wallert. Take your notes now so you can tell your lie later. I also learned earlier today that the sovereign neighborhood speed humps are not covered by CBDG grants. That was a stall tactic. You knew they are not covered. They're not allowed to cover them. I suggest you use what I recommended at the last meeting. I called them impact fees. It was the TIF fund that has over $35,000, which is $5,000 short of the money needed for the speed humps. But I understand that will be denied. It's not permitted, and they're going to take a look at some of the other crap going on. Let's see. I did notice that that new group, the Council on Neighborhoods, put out an interactive kids calendar for everyone in Colerain Township, where you can get online and every activity that's free, whether it's offered by the library, the parks, or the township.
Sorry, your time is up.
Give me a little ADA break here. I can't breathe well, so I'm slower than normal because I have scar tissue from that pneumonia. So give me a second if you would. But anyway, the Council of Neighborhoods calendar is out, and any grandparents or parents can look at it. The other thing is tomorrow they are having, I'm almost done. Tomorrow there, I've seen you at
organizational
all
thing.
the
I
time.
motion to give her one more minute to finish up, wrap it up.
Thank you. And thank you very much, Dan. I do appreciate that.
That's fine, but
Anyway, tomorrow there is going to be an event I saw online from the Council of Neighborhoods at Redefined Studios, where they are, it's the end of their 50 kids, or 50 jobs for 50 kids program. And they actually exceeded their goal of 50 kids and have 202 kids registered from Colerain Township in this program, thanks to Denise. Denise does do a lot of great things, but I got to razz her for what she does wrong. But that was a program Denise supported. And it has hit Colerain Township really hard. The one thing that is concerning about the program is 202 kids want jobs, and this township has not signed up to sponsor a single one of these students in Colerain Township. Not one. And I thought you'd do at least 10.
Thank you.
Okay, nobody else signed anything up for citizens' address? Anybody out there? Okay, then we'll move on to administration reports.
I do not believe there are any administrative reports this evening, and so we can go into trustee reports.
Okay.
Actually, Mr. Weckbeck, I have a question for you. When was this $17,000, $500 check written to Ms. Davis?
The township has not written any checks to Ms. Davis.
Okay. When did our insurance company write a check to Ms. Davis?
My understanding is the insurance company has not written a single check to Ms. Davis.
Okay, thank you.
I'll show you a picture at the meeting.
Okay, Dan, do you want to go first?
Sure. I thank you for, it was nice seeing you last Friday, Commissioner Driehaus, over at the Rumpke Convenience Center opening, the marvelous company here in Colerain Township, and we're very proud to have them here. With the convenience center, anybody who drives up 27 going north from Struble Road heading up towards Ross, you will notice there's a new three-sided, very, what did they say, 38,000 square foot building constructed. And, you know, over the years, I think it's intimidating for people to try to, you know, take personal things like couches or mattresses or, you know, pickup truck loads of refuse to the landfill. But now, rather than having to travel back on the landfill road, you'll be able to stay on concrete the whole time, pull underneath a well-lit, well-ventilated roofed structure, and let the materials out right there. It should get you in and out of the landfill a lot faster. Rumpke comes up with a lot of great ideas, and I saw Mr. Rumpke last Friday and said, "This is great. I can't wait to see what you come up with next." They are a marvelous business to have here in the community, and they've taken the next step towards helping people get rid of items that they want to dispose of. And I think it'd be in the best interest of our township to really do what we can to publicize that service. It might keep one couch out of the drainage ditch. It might keep people from dumping stuff. And it's a problem in the county too. It's not just here, but I think it's going to go a long way towards that. Thanks to everybody who came out yesterday for our Memorial Day service. I thought it was well attended, and the weather did agree with us, which was great. Just before this meeting at 5 o'clock today, we had a nice little ribbon cutting over at Colerain Park for the new young person's play area. The Germania Society is hosting outdoor events at their pavilion pretty much every other Saturday night, starting this last Saturday. It's a nice, well-lit, family-oriented place to go. And I did get a call right before yesterday's Memorial Day service that somebody was complaining about a deceased deer at the corner of Altura and Pippin. And in fact, that would be yours, Commissioner Driehaus, because it's actually on Pippin and not on Altura. So we did hand that off to your organization, and I think they've hopefully gone out there and got that already. And then congratulations to everybody that's graduating from high school and college and last week and in the coming weeks. And I wish them all well and much success in their futures. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Mr. Unger, I have a quick question for you.
Go ahead,
That
Mr.
you may
Waller.
not know, so I'm putting you on the spot. I know that Rumpke used to charge by like the truckload full.
Right.
Is that how this new?
I don't know if it's like a $35 minimum or what it is. I'm sure we can get that information and put it out there. I think this is going to be a tremendous asset for the community. Just if we could, please, Rumpke comes to your house every week. Please fill the brown can. If you have something larger than that, call them. They're very approachable. And if you have a way to get the materials out there to the new Citizens Convenience Center, take them out there. It'll be a lot easier than driving back to wherever the active trash area of the landfill is, which right now is in the very northern part of the landfill area. And it's really state-of-the-art, not just the convenience center, but just the way they handle materials. And anybody that ever wanted to take a tour of the facility, I would advise you to do that. Call here, the township will help get you set up, or call Rumpke directly. They love to show off the very first world sanitation operation that they have there, so.
I have
that's a
been on
long
the
answer.
Rumpke tour twice, and it is a city within a city. It's like an anthill. There's so many things going on, and they just do a wonderful job there. And part of that Rumpke program that they've initiated in Colerain Township also is with Hefty, the orange bags. And so the things that we couldn't recycle now, I feel like I'm recycling almost 80% of my garbage now, because we can, all the takeouts, all the plastic, all the potato chip bags, everything can go in there, cardboard, plastic. So our trash is getting less and less, so I'm hoping more and more people use the Hefty bags. The new playground for the 3 to 5-year-olds was well occupied today with a lot of kids there, so it was nice to see that being used. And I also, another wonderful thing's coming on in Colerain Township is our July 3rd fireworks spectacular. Second Wind is the band, and we will be having alcohol this year, beer and seltzers, so please come and attend that. And I wanted to give a kudos out to the Mendenhalls. We had an issue here in Colerain Township that somebody bought a house in foreclosure that we were having condemned. They did an absolute miraculous, wonderful job. They to the T, did everything we asked them to do. It was listed for $192,900, and it sold in 2 days for $200,000. So it was a nice addition to complement that neighborhood over there, and I thank them. I'm done.
Holy smokes.
I know.
That was,
And it just closed on May 8th.
we were 5 days from knocking down a very deteriorated structure because we had
We
followed the
lots of
legal
problems,
process.
And we had
And,
somebody
I'll have to
that,
go over and have another look at it.
oh,
so.
you have to go online, and the pictures are, they did a wonderful job.
Right, I'll be very, very brief this evening. Commissioner Driehaus referenced $177,000 from solid waste. Most of that money comes from recycled. Some of it was a compost grant and another grant, but a lot of that comes from the items that you put out at the curb to be recycled. We use that for the folks that we hire to pick up litter around the community, which is an outstanding use of recycling fees. So I would say that probably before I joined the solid waste board, I was not an avid recycler. And now I think all of our buying patterns have changed in that we get a lot of stuff online, and I end up with a lot of boxes, and I fill up 2 recycling bins a week, and I'm saving cans for Eric Reifenberger as well, just to throw that in. We can make a difference one person at a time, and it gives me special kind of, I don't know, it gives me special satisfaction knowing that every time I put an Amazon box in my recycle bin, I'm actually paying to pick up trash at the same time. So, if enough of 60,000 people can do that, we can make a big difference. Also, from a personal note, thank you for all the messages, personal messages people have given me the last couple of days. As many might know or not know, my mom has been ill and hospitalized, and thank you for just all the thoughts and prayers and as she recovers, and hopefully we find what's wrong and go for and she gets better, hopefully.
Yes.
So thank you so much, and my apologies for missing a Memorial Day. That is my favorite ceremony, but I was at Bethesda North for most of the day, and my apologies for missing Rumpke, but that was our last day of school with. Ironically, a class that contained Commissioner Driehaus's nephew and
My nephew. our
Kathy
nephew is
Ulrich's
here.
nephew in the same class, which is kind of odd. So that's my report for now. Thank you all. We'll just move on. Thank you.
Okay. Now we go to new business.
Yes, and the first item of new business will be presented by Fire Chief Alan Walls.
Welcome back, Chief.
Thank you. I just have one item for tonight. This is a resolution authoring cost recovery for fire and rescue services at motor vehicle crash incidents involving non-residents, and we recommend adoption of the resolution.
I'm trying to get it to open here for a second.
I motion to approve the resolution authorizing cost recovery for fire and rescue services at motor vehicle crash incidents involving non-residents.
And I will second that. And this does not, as it says right in the description, it's for non-residents that put a load against our fire and EMS services, and it gives us the opportunity to recover costs. We've got expressways that go through Colerain Township with people from all over, and we tend to absorb a lot of impact from that. And so I think this is a good step, and I hope you'll be able to report back to us in the coming months how it's working out. So
Part of the reason for this is that approximately 75% of all these incidents are non-Colerain Township residences.
Correct. With the roadways in the township, a significant number of our motor vehicle crashes involve non-residents.
So it's a way for our residents to not have to pay for something.
Correct.
Chief, I thank you for putting this together, and I do support this with one caveat. I think with something that's unique as this is, I feel that it should have a second reading. Just because it's something that not every township does, I do support it. I intend to vote yes on it, but I feel that it should have a second reading, a second meeting. I don't know how the other two trustees feel about that, but I just because the impact that it'll have for that reason. I'm not saying I don't support it. In 2 weeks, I'm going to vote for it, but I feel that it should have a second reading.
I think we've discussed it quite a bit. I'm prepared to support it this evening on a vote.
Yeah, I read through it. I think I'm prepared. I know you're a more diligent reader.
I think he means just to re-announce it to the public.
Right.
But if we're within our rules, I'm prepared to support it. Are we? Okay.
Ms. Orch?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Thank you, Board. The next items this evening will be presented by Police Lieutenant Dean Dorfline.
Evening, Board.
Welcome.
Item B, resolution declaring a junk motor vehicle at 3561 West Kemper Road. This resolution would declare and order abatement of a junk motor vehicle at 3561 West Kemper Road. At this address, there is a 2012 gray Honda Accord. Recommendation adoption of the resolution.
I recommend we approve the resolution declaring the gray Honda Accord at 3561 West Kemper Road as a junk vehicle.
I'll second that.
Ms. Orch?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Item C, resolution declaring a junk motor vehicle at 3561 West Kemper Road. For clarification, item B and C have the same address, but are separate parcel numbers. This resolution would declare and order abatement of a junk motor vehicle at 3561 West Kemper Road. At this address, there is a 2004 white Ford F-150. Recommend adoption of the resolution.
I recommend we approve the resolution declaring the other vehicle as a junk motor vehicle at 3561 West Kemper Road. If I can get that to come up.
I'll second that.
Ms. Orch?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Item D, resolution declaring a junk motor vehicle at 8944 Pippin Road. This resolution would declare and order abatement of a junk motor vehicle, 8944 Pippin Road. At this address, there is a 2017 black Dodge Journey. Recommend adoption of the resolution.
I recommend we approve the resolution declaring a junk motor vehicle at 8944 Pippin Road.
I'll second.
Ms. Orch?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Item E, a resolution declaring nuisance, ordering abatement. The resolution allows the removal of uncontrolled vegetation and or refuse at the following properties. The list is lengthy, so bear with me. 2459 Birthbrook Drive, 12117 Birch Grove Court, 2459 Blue Lark Drive, 8379 Cheswood Drive, 2607 Chopin Drive, 3292 Compton Road, 6662 Daleview Road, 6401 Duet Lane, 8432 Haskell Drive, 9936 Lorelinda Drive,
10092 Menominee Drive, 8569 Neptune Drive, 3013 Niagara Street, 3025 Niagara Street, 3380 Niagara Street, 2929 Pensacola Drive, 3448 Ringwood Lane, 2454 Shone Drive, 3542 Springdale Road, 8588 Sunlight Drive. Recommend adoption of the resolution.
I recommend we approve the resolution declaring nuisance and ordering abatement at the properties as presented.
I'll second. I guess these are just going to keep piling up since the rain keeps making the grass grow.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Item F, motion to issue a noise resolution permit to McDogg's Lakeside Saloon. This is the third request for the permit in 2024 for this business. The request for the permit is from June 1st, 2024 through October 30, 2024, between the hours of 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. This request is for the business to conduct bike night on Thursday nights. Recommend adoption of the motion.
And just to clarify, any business is allowed to have up to 4 of these permits per year, so this would represent McDogg's third and fourth.
Okay.
I recommend that we approve the motion to issue a noise resolution permit to McDogg's Lakeside Saloon, and that is on bike night Thursdays from 3 to 9, June 1st through October 30th.
I'll second that. And I understand that the resolution that we, the noise waiver that we passed last time was for just one Thursday, and the applicant understood it was going to be for all Thursdays. That's why he reapplied.
Okay, I was not aware of that, but that's okay.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah. I was real inartistic in explaining that, but that's, well, I think I got my point across.
Yes.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Item G, a motion to issue a noise resolution permit to McDogg's Lakeside Saloon. This is the fourth and final request for a permit in 2024 for the business. The request for the permit is from June 1, 2024 through October 30, 2024 between the hours of 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. This request for the business to conduct karaoke on Friday nights. Recommend adoption of the motion.
I motion we would issue a noise resolution permit to McDogg's Lakeside Saloon for Friday nights, June 1st through October 30th from 3 to 9 p.m. for karaoke night.
I'll second.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you, Mr. Dorfman.
Thank you, Board. The next item will be presented by Assistant Administrator Tiffany Mays.
Welcome, Ms. Mays.
Yeah.
Thank you. They need the short people to go
I
first,
know,
and then.
yeah.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is a motion to approve a change order for J.K. Muir for the Blanchetta Basketball Court project in the amount of $5,005.26. Information can be found in your packets on page 29. The construction of the outdoor basketball courts has begun. After construction crews staked out the project site, it was determined that an additional 10 feet of asphalt space would make navigating vehicles through the small parking area more manageable, thus aiding in the protection of private property. Incorporating this additional space has created a change order in the amount of $5,005.26. While the extension is not mandatory, staff supports the recommendation from the contractor in order to provide a more user-friendly space. So essentially, we're trying to avoid fender benders in a small parking area. Staff recommendation is an adoption and approval of the motion.
I motion that we would approve the change order for J.K. Muir to expand the parking area at the Blanchetta Basketball Court project for $5,005.26.
I'll second that.
And I discussed this with you last week, Mr. Weckbach. I'm looking at the specification, and in the specification, they're actually putting a crushed aggregate base underneath the pavement, which is something we've long talked to the county about with the new subdivision, with the existing subdivision regulations, with the amount of soft clays and other inconsistent soils in southwest Ohio. In the past, there's been a lot of paving, with a very minimal gravel base or right on top of clay, which swells and and contracts, depending on the moisture content and the season of the year. And by putting in the crushed aggregate base, it allows the stresses from the moving clay to disperse horizontally rather than cracking laterally up through the surface. And this has been something we've talked to the county engineer about, because we have some subdivisions that were built years ago, and they're handed off to the townships, and then here we are trying to extend our road budget to repair roads that haven't survived the test of time. And interestingly enough, for all the good and bad about Northgate Mall, you do see some surface oxidation on the asphalt there, but there's really no sink areas to speak of or failures, because when it was built to a great spec with a lot of gravel underneath it, and that's why that lot is 54 years old, and is, even with all the traffic that used to be on it, it's never had sinks and swells and undulations like some of our roads have. So I'm certainly support this, and once again, this is another improvement we're making back in the neighborhood by the new firehouse, and it's specifically focused on our youth in the community, and this will be a great asset. So.
And if I may, this is a really neat opportunity to talk about the partnerships that have been a part of this project between the county and federal government. So originally, these were homes in an apartment building on Blanchetta that flooded quite a bit because of the Mill Creek. And so the federal government made some funding available that was administered through Hamilton County to actually have those homeowners bought out, the buildings raised and turned to a greenfield site. There, of course, is a restriction that the only thing that can be done on those sites is recreational type activities. And so we then turned to our partners with the YMCA and with LISC, and we found some grant revenues to build what the residents were asking for. And I say the residents were asking for because they had been wheeling in their own portable basketball hoops to that area. So kind of a really neat story of the residents kind of placemaking on their own, and us seeing the opportunity to partner through all these different connections to make a vacant lot into something great for the community.
Thanks for making that happen.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Board. The next few items are in administration. The first is a motion to set a public hearing, to set a special meeting on the tax budget for June 25th, 2024 at 6 p.m. Typically, we adopt a tax budget, and that's the first step in our budget process. This year, I'd like for us to have a special meeting before that, so we can talk a little bit more in depth about some of our financial challenges and decision-making to start to frame up the 2025 budget. This will start to allow us to have a broader conversation about what direction we're headed, what types of things we want to put in place. Ultimately, this would then be followed up with the public hearing on the tax budget and potential adoption later that evening. As we know, the tax budget really sets the tone for the county to collect our property taxes. It's not intended to be a budget, but I want it to be more of a conversation starter for our budget process this year, hence this request to have a special meeting that night.
I'll motion to set a special meeting on the tax budget for June 25th, 2024 at 6 p.m.
I will second it.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Thank you, Board. The next item is a motion to set a public hearing on the 2025 tax budget for June 25th, 2024 at 7 p.m. at our Township building. This is a required part of adopting the tax budget, is that you provide a public hearing where residents can provide their input on the proposed tax budget. And I would recommend approval of the motion.
I'll motion to set a public hearing on the 2025 tax budget for June 25th, 2024 at 7 p.m.
I will second it. No discussion from me.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Thank you, Board. And the final item of new business is a motion to set a special meeting on strategic priorities and strategic initiatives for July 23rd, 2024 at 6 p.m. Annually, we tend to hold a work session for this purpose where we talk about what our legislative priorities are. Last year, you all adopted a 3-year set of legislative priorities, and so really this is an opportunity for us to revisit that 3-year priority list, make sure that we're still working in that wavelength, and analyze and assess what was on the strategic plan, see if things need to move around, but then to also provide an opportunity to discuss what additional initiatives we may want to see moving forward into 2025 specifically, so that we can build the best budget possible for adoption later in the year.
I'll motion to set a special meeting on strategic priorities, strategic initiatives for 2025 on July 23rd, 2024 at 6 p.m.
I will second it.
That was a mouthful.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Any old business?
Yes, an old business. I did have a question for Mr. Weckbach. Part of one of the citizen comments regarded sovereign and speed bumps not being permitted under the CDBG funds. I was wondering if you could address that.
Yes, if you'll bear with me one moment. The projector controls have decided to cut out on me for a second. Long story short, there was an MOU that was executed by both the Township and Hamilton County. In that MOU, it actually calls out the sovereign drive speed bumps through Hamilton County CDBG with a funding allocation from CDBG for $55,000. Just got to get this to work on my end here, but this is where computers can be very helpful when they work in the moment and then when they don't. But yeah, so that document is something that we actually have. The amendment number 2 is what it's called to the cooperative agreement. The list of projects are Grow-Spec Strategic Plan, Pollinator Mural, Emergency Home Repairs, Tree Planting, Sidewalk Repair Program, Sovereign Drive Speed Bumps, and then the playground replacement at Skyline Park.
So it is in fact funded through that?
It is fully
just-
funded through CDBG.
Must be some kind of misunderstanding.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Yes, and then not hearing any other old business, consent items tonight, for the record, are a new hire for Fleet Maintenance Co-op, and that would be, bear with me, gotta grab their name here, because we didn't put it in the front. Sorry about that. The rate for this employee will be $16 per hour, and that employee is Pierre Achille. We also have a motion for a new hire for our bus driver for the senior bus. That will be Dan Johnson at a rate of $17.31 per hour. There was a contract that I signed with Cincinnati State for our paramedicine partnership. That is at no cost to the township. There's a contract with BCS LLC. This is a right-of-way consultant for our Springdale Road right-of-way project. That was for $38,695. If you all recall, when we first adopted that motion, we set the authority for the township administrator for up to $50,000 on this item, and so we promised to bring it back once we had the final vendor and contract ironed out. And then the final item is a contract. It's actually for a grant through ARP for some fall prevention efforts, and the grant award amount is $2,500. And I would recommend approval of the consent agenda.
I motion we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Okay, is there any fiscal officer report?
I have no report.
Any need for an executive session?
Not that I'm aware.
Okay.
I'll motion to adjourn.
I will second the motion. No discussion from me.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Okay, we are officially adjourned at 7:52. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Commissioner, you're a good luck charm.
Yes, I bet at 8 o'clock.
Thank you all for.